In this lesson, we are continuing with angles with our circles, but now strictly talking about inside and outside. Now, the only angles we talked about for the inside were central angles. So what if now the angle is just not in the center? What if you have two chords here that are intersecting inside the circle? What we have here is that it is equal to half of the sum, meaning we're going to take the two arcs that are created, we're going to add them together and then take half of that arc. So like here, for example, angle 1 and 3 create arc PQ and SR. So if we're looking for the angle measure, we are going to take, let's say QP is 50 and SR is 70. We are going to add the two arcs and then half it. So this is 120 divided by 2, which is 60. So these two would be 60 degrees. So then the same thing here. So angles 2 and 4. This is QP or QR and PS are creating these two. So you would add these two arcs that are being created and divide by 2. So like for example 1, notice we're just going to look for this central angle here, and it is creating the arc 175. And opposite with it is J, the vertical angle, which is 55. So that's why we're just able to add these two arcs, so 175 plus 55, and divide by 2. So here you get the angle measure of 115 degrees. So if this angle is 115, so is this angle here because they're vertical, they're congruent. Then here, if we're looking for X, then what are we going to add together? 70 and 170. We're going to use the vertical angles. So then here, we're going to add 170 plus 70 and then divide by 2. So this angle measure, or X, is equal to 100, I'm sorry, not 100, is equal to, oh, I'm sorry, yes, 120 degrees. Now 1C is different because here we're now looking for the arc and we're given the angle measure that creates this arc. So that means here, and again, vertical, so this is creating our 90. I'm going to put X here because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the measure of the arc. So we know though for a fact that if we add these two arcs together, right, X plus 90, and divide those two arcs by 2, then that should equal the angle, right, which is 112. So ultimately, we're trying to figure out X plus 90, what number added to 90 would get us not 112, but double it, right? Because we're dividing by 2. So we're doubling this, which is 224. That means here, X is equal to 134 degrees. So this arc here that we just solved for is 134 degrees. So again, we're working backwards. So this shows 134 plus 90, right? The two arcs divided by 2 must equal our angle of 112 degrees. So then here, we're looking for, now, sorry, I forgot to mention this is a typo. So this is DCE, but we're given X. So again, we're going to set up our equation of 50 plus 30x minus 4, because these are the two arcs that are created by the angle here, the angles here that we are working with that's given to us. So 50 plus the 30x minus 4 divided by 2, though, is equal to the 17x plus 9. So again, we need to double this, right? Because in the end, we're dividing by 2 to get to this. So we're going to double and multiply by 2. But notice you're going to need to double the entire expression. So this is 50 plus 30x minus 4 is equal to 34x plus 18. Now you're just solving a multi-step equation, solving for x. So like here, for example, this is technically 30x plus 46 from 50 minus 4 is equal to 34x plus 18. So now we can start and gather our variables. So when subtracting 30x from both sides, 46 is equal to 4x plus 18. Now you're just solving your two-step. Subtract 18, you get 28. Divide by 4, you get x is equal to 7. Now remember, we're solving for the measure of angle DCE, so the 17x plus 9. So now make sure you plug 7 back in. And here you get the angle measure of 128 degrees. So go ahead and pause the video and try the 3 U tries here on your own. So here for the first U try, you were solving for x and y. X, notice, is creating, in its vertical angle, the two arcs that were given. So just add, divide by 2, you get 115 degrees. So then how do you find y? Well, if they're linear pairs, supplementary, so that's just 65 degrees, because again, they have to add up to 180. They're supplementary, they're adjacent to each other. Then here, this is the having to work backwards. So again, we're given the angle inside, x plus 55 divided by 2 is equal to 60. So really you're looking for x plus 55. What number plus 55 is equal to 120, right? Because we have to double that here. So that's why x, or the arc here, is 65 degrees. Now here you're solving for x. Notice how x, the angle inside, creating the two arcs here, which one of them also has x. So again, you've got 3x minus 68 plus 34. Add the two arcs. Divide by 2 is equal to your angle inside, which is x, which again, we're going to double, right? So this is 3x. Now I'll just combine. Minus 34 from negative 68 plus 34 is equal to 2x. Now you're solving your multi-step equation, and you should have gotten x is equal to 34. So if x is 34, then what do you have to do to find y? Again, they're the linear pair, right? So they're supplementary. Subtract from 180, and y is 146 degrees. And so now when the angle is outside of the circle, so it could be created by a secant line and a tangent, two tangents or two secants. But notice how the angle that we're talking about is outside of the circle. So now when it's outside, we're going to still have, but now the difference of the intercepted arcs. So like notice now we're going to take the larger minus the smaller. So like 180 minus 80 is 100 degrees, but then half of that is 50. So again, notice we are taking the larger and subtracting the smaller and halving it. So here, 260 minus 100 is 160, divided by 2 is 80 degrees. So again, we're going to find the measure of that angle by halving the difference of the two arcs here that are intercepted, creating by the two lines. So like here, for example, we're looking for angle C, right? Our X. this angle is creating the two arcs given, which is the 20 degrees and the 80 degrees. So we are going to subtract 80 minus 20 and half. That is how the angle is 30 degrees, 60 divided by 2. So again, we're looking for the measure of the angle, right, outside. Notice the angle or the arcs. It is creating the 55 degrees and 145 degrees. So again, subtract 145 minus 55, but then divide by 2, half it, you get 45 degrees. So then again, we're looking for the measure of angle 1 here. But notice the arcs created by the two lines is this arc here, which is missing, and the 119. Now notice though, we are given this 174. So what do we have to do to find this missing arc here? Because this is what we need to subtract. Well, our three sections of our circle should add up to 360 degrees. So we need to subtract our two arcs given to us from 360. So here, that means the measure of this arc is 67 degrees. Now we can subtract the two arcs created by your two lines here, 119 minus 67, and divide that by 2. So that's how here the angle outside is 26 degrees. So then the last example, you're creating creating the angle out by two tangents. Now, we are creating, notice the two arcs. We're creating this arc here, the minor arc BE, and then this major BHE, which is 252. So again, we need to figure out though, what is this arc to subtract? So again, what can we do? Well, these two, right, the minor arc and major arc add up to 360. So again, subtract the 252 now from 360. So this arc here is, let me just erase that, is 108 degrees. Now we can subtract the two arcs, 252 minus 108 and half it. That's how you get here, 72 degrees. Go ahead and pause the video now and try these U-tries on your own. So for the first U-try, the angle here, the two lines that are creating this, the two lines that are creating our angle here, is creating the two arcs that were given. So this was just a straightforward subtract, divide by 2 to get 35 degrees. Same thing here. This angle being created by our two secant lines is creating the two arcs here. So again, subtract, divide by 2, you get 28 degrees. Now here, this angle that is created by two tangents, you are given the arc here, the minor arc of 117, but you're missing the major arc. So you do need to first subtract from 360. So the major arc is 243 degrees. Now subtract these two arcs, divide by 2 to get 63 degrees.